Hey Husker Nation, welcome to day 2 in New York, leading up to the Pinstripe Bowl for Nebraska football. Practice number 2 in the books, and we welcome you to Fordham University, the site of Huskers practice. Alongside Damon Benning, I'm Jessica Coody. Well, practice 2 in the books, you took it in. What were your big takeaways? What did you like about what you saw out of the Huskers here in practice?
I kind of just like how they embraced the climate. It's a lot of snow, it was cold. I thought they were crisp, they were efficient, and they moved around well. So it's positive, especially coming off some of those heavy practices that they had back in Lincoln when they were in full pads. I thought today was a good day.
Yeah, woke up to the hotel, or at the hotel, to snow coming down on Christmas Eve. It seemed like the guys are really enjoying playing in some snow.
Yeah.
A lot of guys not probably used to the snow.
It's pretty interesting. You can tell the snowbirds versus not. Who was dressed, who had all the gear on. Guys like Sierra Wright and a couple of these guys dressed pretty warm, but some other guys, they just embraced it. And I think once game rolls around, I mean, you're going to get mid-30s. It should be, I hope, relatively dry. That forecast is going back and forth, but the guys will be prepared because they'll have been outside.
Well, we've talked about this, but a couple days in, and it just seems like this team is having so much fun and really trying to embrace the moment here this week.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's like they've done some addition and by subtraction, and I think the camaraderie and the chemistry, that's a tight-knit group. It was funny when we were watching the press box to hear you say it seems like a smaller group, and it is to some degree, but they're so close, not only in proximity but in like the numbers. You can definitely feel that it's a pretty good culture.
All right, well, we dove into the depth chart when we arrived here in New York, but one of the big changes is Heinrich Haarberg moving to tight end, and you got a chance to chat with him. But first of all, let's talk about that move. Why was that good for him? Why do you think he's going to be good in that fit at tight end?
Well, we've heard Coach Rule talk since he's been here that Heinrich is, top 5-10 athlete on the team, and they need to find ways to get him the ball. And so it's kind of a natural evolution just to move him to tight end, and it was really cool to watch him run around and be play such an integral part in terms of what they're doing. And he has such good command of the playbook, right? I mean, it's not much that guy doesn't know, so he'll be quite the weapon.
And probably already has that connection with Dylan. Obviously, they spent a lot of time together, so got to be comfortable catching the ball from Dylan and Dylan throwing the ball to Heinrich.
Yeah, we watch them. They yuck around and jack around together. They're always together, and that's a pretty cool combination, right? And so I think you were friendly competitors, and now you get to be on the receiving end of maybe some good passes, so it's a good group.
Well, DB got a chance to catch up with the quarterback, now tight end, Heinrich Haarberg, following practice.
Here with Heinrich Haarberg. Listen, you've done everything for this team. It's been a long grind. You're here at the bowl game. You get a little snow early, new position. How you feeling?
I love it. I think a lot of my career so far has been adversity. Just finding a way to get through it. So I think if we can find a way to get through the adversity that hits us as a team, there's nothing that'll stop us. And that's my mindset every day, is try and just keep going.
One of the things that's near and dear to my heart, Nebraska toughness. You come out here, no sleeves, shirt half off. It's snowing out here. You just embrace the moment, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, half of that is just a mindset. I really do believe that. You hear high school coaches chirping you all the time, no sleeves, no tights, any of that. But for me, it's, that goes back a long ways to, when I was a freshman, like I fumbled twice when I had sleeves on. So, I mean, I'm not going to wear sleeves probably ever again in my career just because of that one time.
All right, watched you get a lot of work at tight end today, involved in the offense. You got to be feeling pretty good to play such an integral role to close out your career.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now it's been a pretty fluid transition. Just being able to know the playbook. Obviously, there's some technique there that still working on, and going to continue working on with Coach Sack, Coach Holgorsen, all those guys throughout this winter and into next spring, and hopefully just continue to accelerate.
Enjoy some time off tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, well, we've talked a lot about this offense and what it could look like moving forward. We got a chance to chat with Dana Holgorsen a few weeks ago, and you could just get a sense of how excited he was about the progress that could continue to be made on the offensive side of the ball. How much more progress do you think that we could maybe expect to see from this Nebraska offense going into Saturday's game against Boston College?
Well, I think it could be a fair amount, right? We saw from week 1 with him to week 2 just the efficiency in play calling and how quickly he was moving. They seemed to be in a nice rhythm. And as he joked last week, he can actually write down plays and use his own verbiage now, and he knows what he's saying. So you can imagine with another 3 weeks under his belt, it could be pretty efficient on Saturday. I'm looking forward to see how quickly they can move.
Well, he brought in one of his guys, Dale Shorts Jr., who's working with the wide receivers. He's now into week 2 working with the guys. I got a chance to chat with him, and you could tell he's really excited about the group. But what does that do for Coach Holgorsen to have a guy like Dale who's played for him, coached with him, that just understands what he wants to do offensively?
Yeah, it's like talking in shorthand, right? You can use as fewer words as possible. You kind of know what your offensive coordinator wants. Man, it's a lot easier to paint a picture when you know what it's supposed to look like at the end, right? So I think for those two guys getting a chance to work together again, it'll just increase the efficiency.
Well, he was really excited about the young talent in that room. One of those guys, it's now in year 2 at the Huskers. You were very familiar with Jaylen Lloyd. He's maybe going to be able to have a bigger role here in this bowl game. What kind of role do you think he can maybe have with just maybe the guys opting out, not playing? He's on the top of the depth chart. What impact do you feel like he could make on Saturday?
Yeah, the more touches he gets, the better he's going to be. He's in tremendous shape, elite level shape, and I think for him, he's such a good competitor. He loves conditions like this. We call it Nebraska tough. He's used to practicing outside in this kind of weather, and he's looking forward to the opportunity, right? He's been on the big stage before, whether it's track and football, and I think this will just be a natural part of his climb.
All right, well, DB got a chance to catch up with Jaylen Lloyd after practice.
With Jaylen Lloyd, little snow came early for practice, man. How did it treat you guys out there?
Yeah, I think we're kind of used to it just being from Nebraska. We had these cold games. Kind of a weird year. We didn't get a lot of cold games, but we had a lot of cold practices. So I think it was kind of easy to adapt to and just go out there and play football.
You guys spent a lot of time in full pads before you left Lincoln. You're really trying to get acclimated to a physical game. The weather adds to it. How do you feel the practice went?
I think it's good. Just executing all the details, making sure everything is sharp. Up to this point in the season, we're good at competing. Just got to go out there and make sure the football looks good.
Are you looking forward to a little downtime tonight to celebrate Christmas Eve?
Yes, sir. My family gets in town, so I can't wait to see them.
Give them my best.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, as you have started to dive into Boston College and just what this defense looks like, I know very physical, another defensive-minded head coach, but what are going to be the keys for this offense in this matchup?
I think they want to play quick, right? Boston College, it's a big boy defense, a lot of intricacies, and they get after the quarterback. They're capable of putting on pressure with their front four. You know, they have the tackles for loss leader, leads the country. Anytime you have over 20 and a half tackles for losses, it's a disruptive front. And so for Nebraska, I think they want to establish the ground game and get lined up quickly so Boston College can't get into their defensive sets.
There's so many things with going into this bowl game that you can look to and be excited about watching. But what I guess are you most intrigued to see out of this Husker offense and how they look on Saturday?
So I'm curious to see if they can continue to get better, right? With this turnover and with Coach Holgorsen coming in, and you've kind of trimmed the fat a little bit with your offensive numbers. So can they be even more efficient than they left off at the end of the year?
All right, good stuff, my friend. We got much more to come from here in New York as we get closer and closer to kickoff in the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl inside Yankee Stadium. Yankee Stadium, by the way, DB. You excited to play in a baseball stadium?
I am, actually. Baseball is my favorite sport, and maybe I'll go run out and touch a wall where one of the Dodgers hit a home run.
Well, again, we got much more coming up, so we will talk defense next time you see us. But that was our offensive report as we give you a preview with the matchup with Boston College and all the things offensively that we've seen so far here in bowl preparations. For Damon Benning, I'm Jessica Coody with the Huskers Radio Network. Coverage of the Huskers in New York at the Pinstripe Bowl is brought to you by Woodhouse, the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics.